or I'm sorry, opening statement. Mr. Bush, you'll start. Mr. Bunch, you'll start. I apologize.
I accept the mistake, and feel free to vote Bush, Bunch, it's all close to the same. Anyways, I'm Gordy Bunch, and I still believe in the American dream that we all inherited from our forefathers and we all got from the greatest generation. I am a veteran of the United States Coast Guard, having protect our soil from drug traffickers, illegal slave trade, and drug interdiction. I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm a member of the Woodlands Chamber going on close to 16 years. I founded the Woodlands Financial Group in 2001, and today it's the largest privately held personal lines insurance agency in Texas and the 5th largest in the country. I am a family man, been married last week 19 years, have 3 boys. I'm also a current servant of the Woodlands Township, where I'm the treasurer and the chairman of the Convention and Visitors Bureau. I really am looking at running for Senate District 4 because I'm concerned about the direction of our country and the narrative that our kids are hearing. There's way too much negative and lowering of the expectations of their future, and I want to reignite the American dream that we all grew up with, where our expectation was to exceed what our parents had achieved, and that our future is setting ourselves up to have our greatest generations always in our future. Thank you.
Mr. Creighton.
Good job, Gordy.
Okay, great to be with you. I know, and again, I'm Brandon Creighton. I'm one of your state representatives for Montgomery County. I'm in my 4th term in the House, and I currently serve as the Republican Caucus Chairman, our leader position for the Republican House members. We have a vacant Senate seat for Senate District 4, and this Senate seat from Conroe and the Woodlands, Magnolia, East Montgomery County, Kingwood, on over to Beaumont is one of the most important Senate seats in Texas for our economy. There's 31 state Senate seats, there's 150 state representatives, and this state Senate seat in Texas is crucial and critical to our future for the Texas economy and to our success going forward. We have so many issues in Texas that we handle to make sure that Texas runs Texas, and we are unlike many states that are on the ropes, like California and Michigan and New York, where their state policies and their state legislatures have them upside down. We don't have any time for on-the-job training. We need to send an experienced, effective, proven individual to the Senate to make sure that from day one, this position is filled in a way where we can succeed, where Texas can succeed, and as Texas goes, so does the rest of the nation in so many ways. I'm from Montgomery County. I have several generations here of leaders in community service. I'm very proud of that. My wife, Fawn, is with a hospital, a CEO for a hospital here in the Woodlands. Many of you know her. And what you do on a daily basis as entrepreneurs, risk takers, as the business leaders, you are the ones that are driving the opportunities in this state for the rest of the country. As legislators, we have to be ready to be effective, to be assertive, and to state the case in a way that will bring others into the fold as Montgomery County expects. I want to be that person for you. Brandon Creighton, Senate District 4, I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Creighton. Now, Mr. Galloway.
My name is Michael Galloway, I'm a candidate for State Senate District 4. I am 49 years old. I'm a self-employed businessman in the oil and gas business. I've been married to my bride of 28 years, Angela. We have 2 children. My oldest daughter is 20 and a son who is 17. I'm no stranger to Senate District 4. I've lived and worked in this district my entire life. For 20 years, I've worked to ensure that we have a strong conservative voice in this district. In 1994, at the age of 29, I became the first Republican elected to this district since 1876. While I was in office, I passed a bill reforming Lamar University. I fought the EPA and the TNRCC to remove us from the onerous auto emissions testing program. I passed the first voter ID bill in Texas. I took on my own party, leadership in my own party, to stop an expansion of the business tax in '97. And I was a key player in returning $1 billion in surplus back to the taxpayers. It was the largest tax cut in the history of the state at the time. My fight against the city of Houston on the issue of forced annexation led to the most sweeping reforms since 1963. It was a key factor in preventing the Woodlands area from being annexed. I had a 100%, I was one of the very few senators who had a 100% attendance record, and I was also ranked consistently as the lowest spender in the Texas Senate. Since I left office, the legislature has passed the largest budgets in history. They have increased taxes on businesses. They have allowed property taxes to increase at double-digit rates, and their failure to do anything on immigration has cost us a great deal in crime and education and our health care. Thank you.
Now we're going to allow one of Mr. Toth's representatives to come up and speak for 2 minutes on his behalf.
Hi, I'm not Steve Toth. This is Steve Toth. I'm just up here to tell you that we're glad that you came out tonight. Thank you very much for the invitation. My name is Laura Fio. I am the campaign manager for Steve. You know Steve. He is our representative for the Woodlands, and he is also a small business owner. We'll be in the back after the forum to answer any questions that you have, and we look forward to hearing from the other candidates here. So thank you very much.
Okay, first question will go to Mr. Creighton. Last legislative session, the man who you are trying to replace, Senator Tommy Williams, spearheaded the $197 billion two-year budget. Some critics say it was 26%, a 26% increase in spending, while supporters say it was an 11% decrease from the 2002-2003 budget, taking into account inflation and population growth. What is your take on the 2014-15 budget? Did you support it, and what changes in terms of spending and/or taxpayer relief would you have made?
And then how much time? 1 minute. Okay, in 1 minute, a question about the state budget is tremendous. It's the budget for the 12th largest economy in the world, almost $200 billion in revenue. We spent almost every bit of the money that we had coming in revenue, and we prioritized it, in my opinion, in many ways that were helpful, and in some ways, like roads and water, we still relied on the rainy day fund to accomplish those goals by referendum vote. Where you've already voted on the water vote, you will soon vote on the mobility vote. In my opinion, we spent too much money in the Texas budget. In the prior session, I was part of one of the largest budget-cutting task forces that we have had for the state appropriations effort since World War II, where we cut $16 billion and established a brand new baseline. This session, I felt like we increased the spending too much, and I voted no. And I was the caucus chairman. It was a tough vote. But increasing legislator pensions and decreasing border security was not what I felt like were the state's best priorities.
Thank you, Mr. Creighton. Mr. Galloway?
I do believe that too much money was spent. The legislature has a habit of not saying no to new spending, and you'll get legislators claiming they're great stewards of the taxpayer dollar. But if you look, they never really cut the budget. And in 2003 and in 2011, there was claims that they balanced the budget and cut the budget. But the truth is there was a shortfall. In 2003, there was about a $10 billion shortfall. And in 2011, there was about a $15 billion shortfall. And they were required to balance the budget by the state constitution. They were required to. But the preceding sessions, they turned around and basically restored all that funding and ratcheted it back up. In a 10-year period, we've actually spent over $15 billion more than the rate of inflation and growth in population.
Thank you, Mr. Galloway. Mr. Bunch?
Yes, I think as many government entities do, as they have revenue increases, they don't have restraint and they end up spending it. And I agree that the prioritization of putting our infrastructure in front of the budget really needs to take place. I can speak to the budgets I've been involved with here in the township, where we also are a growing community and have growing revenues. Instead of spending those revenues, we've actually paid off debt early. We paid off $14.3 million in debt locally, saving $5 million in interest and $1.5 million a year in our budget. We also looked at our spending, and we actually were able to lower our spending on existing items. On one item, with my help, we saved $800,000 a year. And other things that we do is we've been able to lower our taxes. And the two budgets I've had an opportunity to participate in, we have lowered our property taxes in the Woodlands $3.10 per $100 value. We do it right locally, and I'd like to take that same concept down to Austin. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bunch. Next question is for Mr. Galloway. The Texas Medicaid program is ranked 50th out of 50 states as the worst paying Medicaid program. What is your stance on Medicaid expansion under the Affordable Care Act? If you do not support Medicaid expansion, considering hospitals only get paid 40 to 50% of their cost to care for Medicaid patients, who has the responsibility to care for the indigents of Texas, and should healthcare providers be the ones to carry the financial burden?
I am not in favor of expansion under the Affordable Health Care Act. A lot of local government entities pick up part of that tab, and we all pick up that tab in the cost of our health care. And there's a lot of factors, obviously, that lead to our higher health care costs. One is there's very little aspect of the free market in the healthcare industry. When you get sick, you don't get out the yellow pages and go through and figure out who's the cheapest. You want to find out who's the best. But we have a lot of our healthcare costs that are absorbed in our emergency rooms, particularly because of illegal immigration. About 20% of our medical caseload is because of illegal immigration. Some 70% of all the babies born to our publicly funded hospitals are born to illegal aliens. And then those individuals are considered U.S. citizens and are eligible for welfare benefits.
Thank you, Mr. Galloway. Mr. Bunch?
Yeah, I was very pleased to see that we didn't take the hook into expanding Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act. That would have set us up to have long-term financial obligations that this state cannot afford. To me, the Affordable Care Act is still unconstitutional. I'm not agreeing with John Roberts. I think the 10th Amendment clearly states that this is a state issue, and I still don't understand the decision to force that here in Texas. The insurance companies do pick up some of the slack with subsidies. Part of the Affordable Care Act, there's a group policy surcharge that is going towards the exchanges that cover the known actuarial losses that are going to occur. This is a failed program. I hope we can get control of the U.S. Senate in this election and we can get this thing repealed so we don't have to have this question again in 2 years. So yes, I'm very much against the expansion of Medicaid in Texas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bunch. Mr. Creighton?
You know, the Medicaid problem in Texas is a national problem. Medicaid itself is the most unsustainable track of Obamacare for the states. Billions and billions of dollars that will not be paid to the state of Texas, even though a couple of years worth of money is promised. It's like a friend that you have that's broke and busted, flat busted, but promising you to deliver on things that you're going to just say, I hope it comes through. And you put your family's health care at risk based on that promise. There's no way it's going to happen. So we have to make sure that we take action and it's not just rhetoric. This session, I was given the credit by redstate.com and Texas Monthly, which never agreed, to be the person that blocked Medicaid expansion in Texas under Obamacare. I'm very proud of that. I led the Republican caucus on that effort, and many states were taking notes as legislatures from Florida and many other states were calling and asking daily, what is the update? And it was something that we had to take a line in the sand on, and I was proud to lead the effort.
Okay, that question was pretty long. I think that we've established that none of the candidates supports the Affordable Care Act. However, Mr. Bunch, we'll start with you. Since you do not support Medicaid expansion, considering the hospitals only get paid 40 to 50% of their cost to care for Medicaid patients, who has the responsibility to care for the indigents of Texas, and should healthcare providers be the ones to carry the financial burden?
You know, to me, we have to have some personal responsibility for our health care, and I believe that one of the solutions to our challenges is the employers provided health care really should help eliminate so much dependency on the state-run programs. But putting that burden on whether it's an insurance company or whether it's on us as individual taxpayers, You know, it's a very difficult question to answer. Is healthcare an entitlement in our state or in our country? And I don't think that it is.